Hey everyone, welcome to another quarantine edition of the Adam and Chris Show. I'm St. Adam.
I'm Chris Malice.
And Chris, today we're going to talk about something. You're going to talk about something that's near and dear to your heart. Want to
Oh,
tell
what?
everyone what that is?
Huh? Oh, the EA of fucking metal record labels? Yes, Roadrunner Records, definitely. Let's go. So this list is top 10 bands that Roadrunner Records fucked over. You guys ready for it? I mean,
Let's go.
I'll be honest, you could probably do at least a top 50 list because they've fucked over more musical artists than fucking EA has fucking closed studios. Okay? So get ready. This is going to be fucking fun. At number 10, Mushroomhead. We're Ohio born. Mushroomhead is from Ohio. At one point, Roadrunner Records was looking very close to signing Mushroomhead, a lot because of their 8-person band member lineup and kind of their gimmick. Well, Mushroomhead actually wanted more money than what Roadrunner was offering them, and they're like, nope. And then they went and found Slipknot and signed them instead. Number 9, the band Glassjaw. One of those kind of, I guess you'd call them post-hardcore bands. They're a little bit more edgy. They're okay. They're okay at least, but they were trying to get on more tours and stuff, but Roadrunner wasn't pushing them. And at one point, Roadrunner has they'll sign artists and be like, okay, well, we expect you guys to sell as many records as Nickelback. Well, here's the thing: grandparents that listen to Nickelback, not death metal. Okay, so there you go. And
I don't know. The really cool grandparents are listening to death metal.
Hey, So Glassjaw is
if your grandmother's wearing corpse paint, you invite her over.
Glassjaw has been quoted as basically telling their fans to download their first few records illegally. We're going to go on to number 8. Of all the people who Roadrunner should have known not to fuck with, Dave Mustaine and Megadeth. Megadeth was on Roadrunner.
Yeah, I remember because, Megadeth was going under kind of a bit of a renaissance. They got back together, they started releasing, they signed like a 3-record deal with Roadrunner. And all those records were, pretty good. And then they got a Grammy nomination. So you get this Grammy nomination, you get critics and fans loving the albums, and Roadrunner's not pushing the album. Dave Mustaine said, you can't get us on radio, you can't get us on, back when MTV had music on it. He's like, I'm going to like malls and, there's nothing for Megadeth being pushed. And he's like, I signed this big contract with you guys. You've done nothing for us.
Well, it's because Dave Mustaine didn't sag his pants half past his ass and look like he was going to beat his wife that night.
Nobody wants that.
He didn't look like a cream of the new metal crop, and it's interesting because after
dead at this point.
Huh?
New metal was completely dead at this point.
Well, they still push whatever they try to get. They try to exploit trends. They're not what they used to be. Roadrunner Records they started off in the 80s under the title Road Racer, and what they did is a lot of more extreme metal bands. What they would do is they try to introduce them into the European Union and other markets outside the United States, and then vice versa. And they eventually kind of quit giving a fuck about that. When you saw Korn and Slipknot and Nickelback start blowing up, they were like, okay, all you bands that have made a name for us from the 80s to about 2001, tough shit. So and Megadeth, and also at that time though, that was on the big upswing for Megadeth because Megadeth had released Risk, and then World Needs a Hero, and then when they signed with Roadrunner, Endgame,
well, you're leaving out some albums there.
Yeah.
After World Needs a Hero, Dave suffered that compressed nerve in his arm and, disbanded the band because he didn't think he could ever play guitar again.
Mm-hmm.
He rehabbed the hell out of it over like a couple years. He did The System Has Failed. That one wasn't on Roadrunner. But you know, that's where it started this Megadeth renaissance, and each album was getting like really good. You know, United Abominations after that, In Game after that. You
Yeah.
know, so it just kept building and building and building.
Well, he
Um,
released some of the, the most politically risky albums of his career when he was on Roadrunner, and they didn't give a fuck about him. They just was like, okay, just release them, and we're not going to help promote you. And it's Dave Mustaine. You think he's going to take that shit in stride? No, come on. He
no,
fucking put him on blast,
on
rightfully
Twitter.
so. Yeah. So we go on to number 7, Mercyful Fate and King Diamond. That was one of the original Roadrunner artists. They're not there anymore. They did like to them what they did to any kind of metal band that actually wants to sound like a metal band, and they quit promoting them, quit pushing them. Probably released some couple remasters of their records and 2 from the vaults, but never really cared about them releasing anything new, just to get their name on there and supplement some sort of income. Motherfuck them. Number 6, Deicide. Oh God, this one's gonna be good. When you're such a shit company that when you're such a shitty record label that bands deliberately release shit material to get the fuck off of you. Deicide did that. They did that. Them and another band, we're not going to go into that till we hit number 1. They did that. Okay? Roadrunner is all about chasing trends. And yeah, it's done good for Nickelback and fucking Slipknot, but at the end of the day, Nickelback is made fun of so much online. I guarantee you, if they fucking release another Nickelback record, people are like, I don't fucking care anymore. Because they catered to Karens. But yeah, they fucked over Deicide hard, and Glenn Benton's a scary fucking dude. Don't know why you try to fuck them over. Number 5, we're going to go with Machine Head. They got Rob Flynn to rap.
Now, in all fairness, Rob Flynn claims that was his idea.
I don't buy it. I don't fucking buy it. I don't fucking buy it. You could do that rap kind of stuff and not. He went from, looking like me to look like a missing member of fucking Linkin Park on Burning Red. Fucking wearing the fucking stupid ass fucking Adidas swishy pants, some fucking Liberty spikes. It's not a good record. It is better than a lot of new metal bands' best efforts, but still, it's like maybe 4 tracks off Burning Red that's good. And then Supercharger was their attempt to go more mainstream, and that fucking thing was a shitstorm. So well, yeah,
there is a reason I used to refer to Roadrunner Records as metal or new metal mecca.
Yeah,
because that's like in like 2000 to 2003 maybe, like every new metal band that would be on the radio or on TV would be signed with Roadrunner, and they all looked the same. They all sounded the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all sounded like Trapped, but worse. Well, you can't really get worse than Trapped.
Can't really get worse. Well, I mean, you can if you're fronted by Fred Durst, but that's another time.
Hey, I got an idea for a video. Let's do a who could win in a fight, Durst or the douchebag from Trapped. That might actually get you on Durst's side. All right, number 4. This is going to be kind of broad. Any death metal band that was fucking signed to Roadrunner. They had Pestilence. They had Disincarnate. They had fucking Death, Obituary, Deicide. They got fucked off of there. They said we don't want these kinds of bands anymore, and they fucked them off there.
Wasn't Cradle of Filth on Roadrunner?
I don't know. I'm not a big Cradle of Filth fan by any means.
Neither am I. I just know they had Danny Filth on that Roadrunner United disc. They did.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. You even had Cynic on there, and they're fucking great. Oh, good God. Ugh. Here we go. Number 3, Typo Negative. Typo Negative. They did a greatest hits record without consenting with Typo Negative, and eventually Typo was like, okay, well, we're going to peace out. That's going to count as one of our records. You guys pick the shit, and then after this next couple, we're going to peace out. And they didn't try to re-sign. I'm pretty sure Roadrunner was like, oh, well, yeah, you're one of the originals. We don't give a fuck about you anymore, too.
I don't know. Didn't they want that goth girl money? Because let's face it, the Murder Dolls weren't going to bring it in.
Yeah, they were bringing in new metal money. I mean, new metal money makes money, but it was such short term. Well, let's talk about the rise of fucking new metal.
That's another video, Chris. That's stay on topic.
Okay.
Stay on
topic. I'm going to go with at number 2. There's quite a few thrash metal bands. Annihilator,
Exorder.
Yeah, they're not on there anymore. They fucked them off. You know,
which is a shame because those bands still sound great to this day.
Well, it's metal music that Karens don't listen to. Okay, all they did what they did is what EA did is when something does very good financially, they want everything to they hold everything up to that fucking same standard. I'm going to tell you this: bands like Pestilence and Suffocation ain't going to be listened to by Karens. Good, they shouldn't be. In fact, metal shouldn't be catering to fucking Karens. We shouldn't be.
You're right.
We should be offending the fuck out of them. We should be pissing them off. People that voted for Nixon, shit like that. We should not be trying to tone ourselves down for them or fucking SJWs.
But Chris, what about trying to bring in new people to the scene?
You could bring in new people without fucking cutting the balls off the music.
What about trying to make money?
Go ahead. You'll do it for short term. Hey, okay, look. Yeah, how about you want to talk about that? Oh, let's bring this up. How many new metal bands now are considered a fucking joke? Like Trap, they can't sell tickets to save their fucking lives. Hey, what happened when Limp Bizkit got back together for Golden Cobra? Was that fucking thing burning up the charts? No, it wasn't. You want to know why? Because they're a 15-minute fucking fad. That's what it was. You want to chase fads? You'll make the money for a short period of time, but guess what happens? It fucking goes downhill afterwards. Cannibal Corpse.
You're saying it's the opposite of your blood pressure right now. So going down, skyrocketing.
So my number 2 is any of the thrash metal bands, but on top of that, they did this thing called 2 from the Vaults, which they took classic artists and they released 2 of their albums simultaneously on one CD. They did it with Biohazard, they did it with Suffocation, they did it with a handful of these bands, and then they reissued some classic records, classic records of bands that they fucked over, and I can guarantee you those bands aren't getting that nice sweet cut anymore. So, but my number 1's going to be Fear Factory, and here's my reasoning for it. Even though Fear Factory, and they were a great band, and they're still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is Roadrunner ended up getting Burton C. Bell to rap on Digimortal, which was shit. Let's face the facts, it's a shit. It's not Saint Anger level of shit, but it's still a shit record.
You didn't like Back the Fuck Up?
That song was fucking horrible.
Now that I think about it, there was kind of a trend because at that time, there was a Soulfly album that came out, and it had a song called Jump the Fuck Up.
Yeah, that's fucking bad shit. It's terrible. So Fear Factory did just like Deicide did, and they released some shit records on Roadrunner Records to get off the fucking label, then their contract with them. The good thing is, after Fear Factory did that, I think even Roadrunner went and got was it the Hate Files or whatever? There's a bunch of junk tracks that Fear Factory didn't want to release.
Yeah, Hate Files was like a mixed bag of it had their live cut of Replica from the Ozfest live album. It had their Terminator track for the video game Terminate.
Mm.
Like that was on there. Then they released the first album Fear Factory ever recorded that they didn't even like the way it sounded. It's called Concrete,
Mm.
and they hated the way that was mixed. You know, they fucked this band over and over to the point where they broke up because of it.
Mm. And then they eventually re-signed to, I think it was a record label called Liquid, and that's when they released Archetype and Transgression, which are great records.
Well, you're forgetting Mechanized, which is a great album too.
Yeah, all three of those were good records, but I still think that the band themselves, they're probably approaching their late 40s now. You could tell they've had so many lineup changes. So and so's in the band now. So and so's not. Dino's in. Dino's out. Burton's in. Burton's out. Christian's in. Christian's out.
So there's a lawsuit that happened because when they got back together, it was Burton, it was Christian, and it was oh shit, what's that drummer's name?
It wasn't Raymond Hara. I think he retired.
No, it was him when they first got back together for Archetype. And then Christian decided he was going to play guitars, and he brought in Brian Stroud from Strapping Young Lad to play bass on that album. And then when you get to Mechanize, they kicked both Raymond and Christian out. Like Burton and Dino got together and made a new Fear Factory album without these guys. Didn't even tell them until they were already making it. But they still brought in Brendan Stroud and shit. Why can't I remember his name? The drummer from Strapping Young Lad, Gene Hoglan. And they made Mechanize with them, but it was just kind of like done behind their back. And I believe Dino and Raymond started Fear Factory, so there was this fight over the rights. They eventually came to an agreement where Burton and Dino would have to pay Raymond and Christian, rights and stuff like that. But then Burton, like in the last couple of years, him and his wife filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So then that deal's no longer, they can't go through with it. So now Fear Factory can't even record an album right now.
It's sad looking at a lot of the legal fights. It stems if they're treated right on that record label,
absolutely, they
would still be prevalent. I mean, they're one of the great bands of the late 90s, early 2000s that at the time almost forgot.
And it is a shame because like I remember us listening to Digimortal when it came out because we listened to Soul of the New Machine, Demanufacture, even Remanufacture was just remixes. Obsolete, we were like,
Obsolete is great.
Right. So then when we heard that Digimortal was coming out, we were pumped up and it did not work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. And what's even worse is when you get to the song Back the Fuck Up, and it's some rapper. It's one of the guys, I think, from Cypress Hill.
See, I like Cypress Hill, but that song's still shit.
That song is shit because Fear Factory always wrote like a story within their albums, and that song just did not fit the theme of the album or anything to do with the album. You can tell it's just shoehorned in there. It's like rap metal's popular. And yeah, like you said, you got Burton, who does death metal screams and kind of like melodic singing, but not in the same way like a lot of metalcore bands do. His sounds like new wave singing. So then you got him growl rapping, which is just one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's bad. It's almost as bad as Corey Taylor's single. What record label is that on?
Gee, I can only imagine.
I mean, his other two bands are signed on that record label.
Oh, well, I mean, just because Slipknot and Stone Sour's on there doesn't mean Corey did his album on this. Surely it doesn't mean that.
Yep, they're the Activision EA of metal, I think.
Here's the funny story for you. While they were nu metal mecca, they released the album that killed nu metal because they released, Killswitch Engage signed with them. They released Alive or Just Breathing, which introduced most people to that metalcore sound and just killed nu metal dead.
Mm.
However, watching a documentary with Killswitch talking about when they signed with Roadrunner, they said, "Oh, this will probably be the last metal band we signed," because they wanted to go with more Nickelback sounding bands at the
Of
time.
course.
And then that album exploded, and well, you know what
Well,
happened.
supposedly, I believe, what's his name from Strapping Young Lad, Devin Townsend. He said that there's people that help Nickelback compose their songs so they can get the most radio airplay. And he knew one of these people that did that. Here's my thing: that's not.
I don't doubt it.
You're not making art at that point. What you're doing is you're making a product. You're making
Right.
fucking Chips Ahoy. You're making, cleaner for your grandma to use.
If you want to know how badly Fear Factory was treated by Roadrunner, the opening track of Archetype, the song "Slave Labor,"
Mm-hmm.
lyrics to that. He wrote that about being under contract to Roadrunner, and it has a line. It just addressed what you said. Produce another product for the mass to consume.
Yeah. And it's sad because I think there's still, I don't know if online, we see shit hate on EA all the time, rightfully so, and Activision. But when it comes to musical outlets that talk about shitty companies that fuck over talent, Roadrunner don't get really a mention except for by fans, So I think it's very appropriate that we, someone do that. Who knows? And they might try to claim this video because we talk bad about them, but fuck them. It's Roadrunner Records, the EA of fucking metal record labels.
Well, there you have it. If any of you out there can think of any other bands that got screwed over by Roadrunner, please let us know in the comment section below.
Oh, there's going to be a ton of comments.
If you like this video and really want to get more of this insanity, hit that like button, that little thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check out all the rest of the nutty shit we do on here. Follow us on social media. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and coming soon, Chris's OnlyFans page.
I don't have an OnlyFans.
Sure,
I'm surprised that Roadrunner doesn't convince some of the people on that record label to create an OnlyFans page that they can get a portion of.
So I guess coming soon, Fear Factory's OnlyFans page. Well, from the Adam and Chris show, I'm St. Adam.
I'm Chris Malice.
We'll see you later.